Hello everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. It's about that time. Let's go take that walk and see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Hopefully this will be a big treat. This is Hardywood Park Craft Breweries, an up-and-coming brewery here in Virginia. They are doing some really good stuff. And I picked this up at the craft beer store last time I was there. And not seen this particular one before, and I said, let me try this one. Commercial description on this says West Coast style IPA. A lot of brewers like to hang that tag on their beers, but very few of them can live up to it. Especially the ones on the East Coast here. There are some that's got it figured out. We'll see if these guys here has got it figured out. Bold, resinous, and bursting with bright grapefruit aroma, this IPA is a tribute to the decades of hard work by our conservationists to restore the James River as a bounty of vibrant aquatic life. Eco-friendly recreational activity, in our case fresh brewing water. These efforts have culminated recently with the symbolic return of the endangered Atlantic sturgeon, a prehistoric yet majestic behemoth of a fish spotted as far up the James River as the Fall Line in Richmond. Your purchase of this beer supports the James River Association. Thank you for being a part of the Great Return. And that's basically what they're talking about. The Great Return is the James River. In our commitment to the James River conservation, Hardywood will contribute $10 per barrel of the Great Return to the James River Association to support their mission to be the guardian of the James River. The JRA's core program include watershed restoration, education and outreach, river advocacy, and the River Keeper program. 7.5% ABV on this one, 70 IBUs. And it's a fall release. First release date was October of 2013, and it has no dating on the bottom, which is probably, and they've got some, and it looks like the dating is scribbled across the side of the rim of the can, which does not work. So whoever's in charge of the dating machine needs to have their face slapped. It is I can read 094225, whatever the frick that's supposed to mean. And there is no other mention of any kind of dating on it. So, hate to see that. They've attempted to do something on the bottom of the can on the rim instead of in the center of the can on the bottom. So, not too good. But anyway, the commercial description I just read you is basically the same stuff that's written on the side of the can, and I applaud them for what they're trying to do and help those conservationists with the James River out there. And it's not that far from me. I can be at the James River in about an hour from here. So a lot of stuff going on with that river, with pollution and trash and everything, just like a lot of the rivers around here. I mean, there are some people that don't give a frick, and they chuck stuff out, and a lot of the water runoff from the parking lots and all that kind of stuff ends up in the river. So all the antifreeze and oils and all that stuff that goes from the parking lots down into the pipes, and they end up right back into the river, which is not good for the wildlife. All right, guys. I'm not a tree hugger or anything, but I hate to see the watersheds get messed up like that. I really do. I'm not a big fisherman. I used to do some fishing in my younger days, but I don't anymore. But you can drive along the river and see the trash that still lingers and hanging in the trees and all that kind of stuff, and I'm not a big fan of that. Not at all. But anyway, We give you the IBUs, we give you everything we need to know here. So let's go to the food pairings. This is an IPA, so the cuisine is curried in your Thai, cheeses are peppery, pepper jack, Monterey pepper, I said pepper jack, sharp blue cheddar, your more pungent cheeses, and the meat is poultry, fish, shellfish, and salmon. I will add grilled meat to that. Glass is a pint Becker Nonic tumbler, mug, Steiner Sidel. I got my Paris tulip glass here. And not recommended for extended cellaring, but if you can't read the damn date on the bottom of it, how you're supposed to know how old the beer is. This is a big can. It's a 16 ouncer. More or less going to fit in this glass, so I'm not going to pour it all in there. And with that aggressive pour, we're getting a monster head. Alright. A good 2 fingers of head on that pour, guys. Over into the light, it's got a haze to it. I wouldn't be surprised if this is an unfiltered beer. It doesn't say that, but I cannot see the bulb through it. A lot of bubbles streaming up, reinforcing that head. Nice white soapy bubbles on the head there. Looks good in the glass though. Let's get a nose on it. I'm not getting that West Coast style, so that tells me the beer may be a little old or at the end of its shelf life. How are we to know if we can't read the date? And I don't remember the last time I went to the beer store that they had this one. So when I went in again, they had this one. I kind of assumed that it's a fresh batch. But you never know, guys. You don't know how long it sits in the warehouse and the distribution chain and all that kind of stuff. You just never know. That's why the dating is so important on the IPAs. I am getting a little bit of the citrusy grapefruitiness in there, but it's not knocking down the West Coast style to me. It really isn't. Nice maltiness to the back. Now, I don't know about the IBUs. It's 70. We'll see how that does. Cheers, everybody. Let's give it a taste. No, it's not West Coast style. It may have been when it was put in the can. I have no idea of knowing without the date on it. I was really hoping for something better than what I'm getting on this. The alcohol is well hidden for a 7.5% ABV, 70 IBUs. Doesn't seem to be too bitter. Seems like a very decent IPA, but it's not that up in your face hop profile that the West Coast style does. And that may be contributed to the age of the beer. Without the date, no way of telling. No way of telling. Not going to harp on that a lot. But if you can't read the date, you just assume don't have it on there if you can't read it. So that's how I feel about it. I was really hoping to give this beer a good grade since it's I consider it a local brewery. They're out of Richmond, Virginia, which is about 3 hours from me. More maltiness than hop forwardness to me, guys. So it's the way it goes in the beer world. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. So let's let the other half taste it, and I might pour the rest of this for her, and we'll come back and do the final chug here in just a second. Hey guys, I'm back. Got a little bit left here. Very disappointing on the dating process that they're using on these cans. If you can't read it, you're wasting the ink and the time to try to date it. And being a local brewery, I consider it a local brewery, even though it's 3 hours away. It's a Virginia brewery. I'm kind of disappointed in what I've got here. I did not see this beer the last time I was at the beer store, and when I went in this time, they had this one there. I said, oh, this is something new, and it said West Coast style and all that. So I'm saying, oh, this ought to be pretty tasty, and I'm fairly disappointed. So let's do the final chug, and I'll give you the grade. Nice citrusy hop presence, but definitely not a West Coast style. This is definitely not an enjoy by beer. It's not quite to the double IPA's ABV on that, but I'm kind of thinking this beer has been in the can for a while. I have no way of knowing, not being able to read a date on the bottom of the can. So whoever's in charge of that at Hardywood, get your shit together, because whatever you're stamping on the rim of the bottom of the can is basically unlegible, and it doesn't look like a date to me. It looks like a time stamp. So thumbs down on the dating process that you're using at Hardywood. Somebody needs to get their act together there on that. Guys, this is probably an A beer, but I don't think this is a fresh can. That's just my opinion. I don't think it's a fresh can. It doesn't taste like a fresh can to me. The maltiness in it is just too overwhelming compared to the hop forwardness of the beer. I may be wrong. It may be a fresh can, and if it is, they seriously missed being a West Coast style IPA. So, guys, I don't even think it gets up to the A status. I've read some reviews, and I will give you those here in a minute, that this is a pretty good beer, but I'm disappointed in this beer. I really am. So, not having a legible date on the bottom of it, I'm going to give it to 7, which is a B+. I don't think it's to the A status because of the dating process and the taste that I'm getting on this beer. Over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate says 89 in a very good range. That's about where I would put it, about 89. It's not quite to the A category. So I agree with what they're rating on this 100%. It is about an 89 beer. And over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer says overall 94 and 90 in the style. So evidently these guys are getting a lot fresher can than I'm getting, or have gotten, and it's probably an A beer. It really is. It's a shame that I picked up this beer and can't see or read a date on the bottom of it, and it tastes more malty, or just as malty as hoppy on this particular version. These guys have gotten rave reviews on just about everything they've done. So like I said, I'm kind of disappointed in what I've got here in front of me. So with that being said, maybe down the road, if I see another can that's got a legible date on it, I know it's fresh, I may re-review it. But this can here, it gets the B+. Probably an A beer in a B can with no date on it. So that's where I'm going to leave it. If you've had this one from Hardywood Brewing, Park Craft Brewing, it's an India Pale Ale IPA, and they're claiming to be a West Coast style, which the one I have in front of me is not. Let me know what you think, and like I said, I may re-review it on a later date if I can find a fresher can or a legible dated can down the road. So we'll see where it ends up, guys. So I do applaud them from helping out the James River conservationists on that aspect, but their dating process leaves something to be desired. As far as I'm concerned, what they've done on the bottom of this can is a total waste of freaking time. So guys at Hardywood, can you hear me? I'm speaking to you. Get your shit together. Can't be proud of something that's done in Virginia when you can't read the damn date, or looks more like a time stamp on the bottom of it. Don't make me slap you. Alright guys, we're out of here on this one. If you had this one, let me know what you think. So if we can find a legible date on a beer tomorrow, I sure hope so. These kind of beers that don't have a date or an illegible date, they suck. They do. I'm out of here. Let's see what's in the fridge tomorrow. See you then.